we can do some little stuff while waiting. The first thing,
Sure.
because I always forget it, can we approve the minutes for January 18th and February 1st? Are you okay with that, Lee?
Yes, thank you.
And I am too, Colleen, so both of those minutes are approved.
Okay,
Lee, why don't I go over the septic stuff? Just to review it, and then we've got people coming.
Sure.
The first one I've got is Neil Jackson. It's 13 Pineview Circle. And that one, at the last meeting, Neil was looking for advice from us, and we suggested that he move the system closer to the wetland than 100 feet. But the review is completed. It's a narrow lot. Sands 96 inch to the water table, gently sloping down to the rear. It's public water. The issues on that lot are limited areas, the wetlands at the rear of the lot, and on the slope up area to the southeast of the SAS, where he dug the hole, there's ledge. The design is for two 10 B3043 Elgin module trenches with vents. It's 440 gallons a day. It's a 3-bedroom repair. I'm sorry. And 440 is the requirement. It's a 1,500 gallon 2-compartment tank with an outlet filter. No fill is needed. There is ballast on the tank. It calls for removal and compaction of the existing tank. It's asking for a 3-foot versus 5-foot water table separation reduction, and there is no reserve on this repair. And he's also asking for the separation from the SAS to the wetlands to be 80 feet versus our 100-foot regulation, but the state 50-foot separation. And there's public water, so wells aren't involved. My suggestion then is we actually don't, according to the state with this innovative system, even though he's asking for a variance of 5 feet to 3 feet separation, and Bob Sheehan was our rep, is actually not needed with the Elgin system. But he's asking for that. So I'm suggesting that we approve that. That we allow the exception to the Granby 100-foot wetland separation to the 80 feet that we advised them last week, and that we approve the application subject to a plumbing permit if the work is closer than 10 feet to the dwelling, a trench permit, and then verification of the execution of the Elgin notification on the deed required for the certificate of completion. What are your thoughts, Lee?
So is the 10 foot is a normal setback, if I'm correct, and Elgin doesn't have anything more in their portfolio that recommends anything more than 10 foot. Is that accurate?
When you say 10 feet, Lee, what 10 feet from what?
And well, the drawing I'm looking at shows the existing house with a 10-foot separation to what appears to be the on the northeast corner of the Elgin system. It's 10 feet off the house.
Then I missed that. That would be. Let me grab the drawing, Lee, because I believe that's supposed to be 20 feet.
Okay.
Let me grab that one. The wrong one. I've got to get the other one. That is 10 feet. that's supposed to be 10 feet for a tank, but 20 feet. I guess we're gonna have to ask Neil about that, huh? So
Yeah,
when
it
we,
looks like he's got it. I don't know, well, I'm guessing the way I'm looking at this print, he shows on the far left-hand side of it, a 15-foot offset from the property line.
yes,
On the far, on the north, rather southeast corner. So a two-part question then. If we normally do 20 off the house, are we allowed to go just 5 foot off property, or is that going to be a potential headache as well?
I think the
Because the lot
property,
is so narrow.
yeah, if you get closer to the property line, that has to be a surveyed line. So maybe what Neil is gonna tell us is that actually that foundation is above the floor of that cellar is above the SAS. We'll have to ask him. We'll just have to ask on that one. So with
Okay.
the next one,
Just an observation.
yeah, I missed that. This one is also Neil Jackson, 12 Griswold Circle, 3-bedroom house. It's a repaired. It's just an SAS replacement and D-box. Fees paid, the review is completed. This one's a small, level, grassy lot, 109-inch water table. This is a dense half-acre subdivision. I think, as I recall, this is the last half-acre subdivision that was approved in town.
Oh,
And
yeah, okay, that the Griswolds put in.
yeah, and the issue is a half-acre lot, but it is laid out. And when we did this, every one of them, we made sure wells and SAS were okay. The design is for 3 foot by 12-inch sidewall trenches with no vents, 444 gallons per day capacity versus 440 required. The existing 1,500-gallon single compartment tank. There is fill. There's no ballast, no reserve area. Separation, SAS separation to wetlands and wells greater than 100 feet. My suggestion is that we approve it, subject the submission. You guys, I don't think, I may have sent you copies of that revised drawing, but the submission of a revised drawings with all the wells located, the original one doesn't have it, but they're good. And the trench permit. How are you with that one, Lee?
So back of the property on this design, it's 15 feet to a fence. And I don't know, so I'm just going under the assumption that the houses on Bachelor Street are the same, where the well's on the street and the septic's in the backyard, but I don't know that for sure.
Well, he did submit, Neil submitted the sketch, with each of the wells, and the wells are, and my drawing is small, but there are 5 wells involved, and they're all in excess. I can't read right now, but I think they were all in excess of 147 feet.
Oh, okay, so we're all good then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
the drawing that he has to supply.
Yep.
So are you okay with that one?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay, Colleen, so that one will be approved with those conditions. The next one
Okay,
is John Kopinski. And this is 108 to 110 Morgan Street. And this one is located, if you're coming on Morgan Street from Five Corners and cross New Ludlow Road, you've got on the right side. The first structure you hit is the what used to be, I believe it's a trailer that they've had all that used stuff for sale. And then there was this wooded area, and then there looks to be, I don't know if it's abandoned, but it's not a good condition house right after that. And then that was the property a long time ago. That was the Capper property that they had trailers out there. That
Oh,
was
yeah, that's
stored.
some years back.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
were stored out there. So this is a new system, 3-bedroom house. Fee is paid, the review's completed. It was a brushy lot. It's not brushy right now. Sands, it's flat, a 30-inch water table, public water. The issues are the high water table.
He wants to.
We
This is
did,
Ludlow.
we did 4 perk tests out there, but it ends up even by moving around as SAS, only one of the, and the perks were all the same, but only one of them ends up in the SAS. The design is for 3 8-Elgin A42s. Well, these are smaller module. These are trenches with vents. It turns out, I'll hit that later. 440 gallons a day capacity versus 440 gallons a day required. It's a 1,500 gallon 2-compartment tank with an outlet filter. Fill, no ballast required. Reserve in between the trenches. He actually relocated the SAS to catch one of the perk tests. Separation to the SAS separation to wetlands greater than 100 feet is public water. As it turns out, an Elgin system designed to the Title V spec, so you're not asking for any variances. With this one with a 5-foot separation, does not need to have a deed notice. Only those repairs. So I'm suggesting we approve the application subject to submission of the revised drawings with the relocated SAS, the elevation changes, there's also on the new drawing, it's in the SAS to end up with another observation hole because there aren't 2 of them as required. And there's some other miscellaneous comments about our inspections of the strip and the 100-foot well separation, but the fill requirement, the trench permit, and as I said, the verification hole in the SAS at the time of the substrip. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Now, there's a lot of information on this print. Did you mention that this is South Hadley water on this lot?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So hence no well showing up.
Oh,
Okay.
well. Oh. But
So
I did,
whoever,
go ahead.
no, so whoever is going to be doing this is going to be cognizant that at time of strip, they're going to be doing another deep hole to verify the data.
Yes, in
over
fact,
proposed location.
yeah, in fact, what happens is it's part of our approval, but the new drawing has it on the drawing. That it's a requirement, so it's right on the drawing.
Okay. 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 All good.
So are you okay with this one?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Okay. The next one is Alan Weiss at 141 East Street. And it's very interesting because I've gone back and forth with Alan on this, and I sent out the sketch that Alan sent me. And it's very interesting because Alan told me that the building inspector says this can't possibly be more than a 2-bedroom house. But as I'm looking at the drawing that I have, it says that there is a 12 by 34-foot extension being put on this house. And so the drawing that you have, Lee, the house that's there has a bedroom that's 12 by 13 and another bedroom that's 12 by 13 and a bathroom and a common kitchen living room. But what I'm given is saying is going to be there is the master bedroom ends up being turned into a 24-foot by 3-foot, 13-foot master bedroom. Then they're adding a dining room and also what they're calling is a 9-foot by 12-foot office. And when I looked at the office, I said, you could just change that word office to bedroom and it's the bedroom.
The last thing I heard about this property, and that was just yesterday, was that Alan was preparing a deed restriction to 2-bedroom. I don't know where that's at, but that was a very quick conversation with Alan yesterday.
So I guess, Lee, when I looked at it,
Yeah.
is that if the system is for the house that's there, I agree with Alan. It couldn't be, it's a 2-bedroom house.
Right.
But if they put it in, there's going to be, everybody ought to know that all of a sudden putting in an addition here is going to be a big problem because the septic system won't tolerate the addition.
So this property here, this must be the house on the corner of East and New Ludlow Road. Fred Harvey's old house, I believe, is what we're looking at.
Probably it's true. He comes in
Can you hear
and
me,
hits,
folks?
Oh, there's
Yeah.
Alan.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know if you could hear me. My office is totally gutted. It's being repainted, so I'm having a little bit of a technical issue on my end. Can you hear me okay?
again, it's not your
Okay.
time
Yeah.
yet, Alan, so.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go
So-
ahead.
So we'll just we're gonna
So-
have to get back when it's your time.
I haven't,
So-
I have not been over to that part of town. I thought that the whole house was being cited. And if there's a big addition going on, that's a surprise to me.
So
Not
all
that
I
it
can,
matters.
all I can do is look at the drawing that Alan showed me. And Alan's drawing is apparently not what's there. So when it's Alan's time, we'll have to talk about that. So if Neil is, I don't know if Neil is here yet. It is Neil's turn right now. But I guess then, Alan, then we can talk about you. So Alan, is what Lee is saying is correct, is that this addition is not going on? That's not what we're designing for?
Let me be very clear. I got that drawing. I did not create it. I got it from your building inspector. And your building inspector's words were, I don't see it being any more than a 2-bedroom house. There's just no room for more. And those were his words, quote unquote. The assessor's card stated 2 bedrooms. When I was there, the owner told me there's 2 bedrooms. There's been for 3 generations in the family, and the grandparents or something are passing it on to the grandchildren to stay in the family, not to be sold. And she's completely fine with it staying as a 2-bedroom house for the record and it being marked on the deed.
Okay.
I will say, from a septic standpoint, my request to you would be to let me upgrade the system, upgrade the plan that I've submitted to you to reflect all the things we've just talked about, in addition to Charlie Konecki going out today with me and verifying the 50-inch depth of groundwater, which is much more conservative than the original perk test done by Mr. LaBarber back in November. He called it at 84 to 90 inches, I believe. And that if the demarcation is acceptable to you, going forward, nobody can turn around and sell it for any more bedrooms than we're talking about. It is a 3-bedroom design, which would comply with the Granby rules. And I'll do my best to get the groundwater to be where it needs to be. under your code and the state code. But now we do have that third party review as well, so that I think we could possibly omit the pump that you might have seen on your plan and make it a system. I believe Daphne's just joined us. She's the owner, the mom of, it's her son that's going to be there. It was her grandparents and grandparents that have owned the house all through the years, and it's
Okay.
staying in the family.
Okay, that's fine. As long as what we've got is that the drawing I have is wrong. That's not what's there. The drawing
sorry.
the correct drawing is the one that shows that the missing extension that's 12 by 34 feet that is not there. And Lee, are we just agreeing that once you take that extension off, I agree, it's a 2-bedroom house.
So the
That's
drawing,
what I'm hearing.
the drawing you have is the house that we're talking about. I got that drawing after you got plans submitted. I will show the new dimensions that the building inspector has given to me. And then, as I say, they intend to keep it as a 2-bedroom house.
No, Alan, I have to make it really clear. If the drawing I have is correct, I don't agree it's a 2-bedroom house. If the correct drawing is a house that's got no, on this drawing, it says extension off back 12 feet by 34 feet. If you're saying that extension is there, then I do not agree that this is a 2-bedroom house. If it isn't there, I do agree. So what are we all talking about?
I'm not sure, because I got the information that you are talking about from your building inspector and from your assessor's office. And I understand the owner intends to keep it as a 2-bedroom house.
That's, Alan, you're playing with words right now. What
Well, no,
I
those are
am
facts, Jake.
asking,
Those are facts.
what I am asking is that extension that's on my drawing, is it going to be there or not going to be there?
It is there now, is my understanding.
Huh? This is confusing.
Yes, I'm confused too. I don't know when the extension was put on, Dick, quite honestly. The house you see is the house that I was told I was working with.
Lee,
I
if
mean, I'm
that's-
getting the impression that this extension is brand new construction, not existing.
Daphne may be able to put information, help you with that. I don't know. I believe she's on.
Are you with us, Daphne?
Can you unmute your screen maybe? Click.
You know, what we need to
Maybe
do,
not.
what we need to do, Alan, before we proceed with this, we need to know with a drawing that's signed by somebody saying this is what's here, that so we know what we're dealing with.
I
And
agree.
So for tonight, I'm not prepared to make a decision because I just don't know what we're dealing with.
I just want you to know that in complete honesty, I was told it was a 2-bedroom house. I was told that it is to be a 2-bedroom house in the future, and that both the building inspector and the assessor's records indicated the same, and that's what I went forward with.
I understand. It's not you that I have an issue with this drawing. But certainly.
Well, maybe what it'll take is for me to go through the house and create a new drawing. I don't know.
Yeah, something that someone says, this is what's there and that's what it's
Can
gonna
you hear
stay.
me?
Oh, there you are.
Hello.
There's Daphne.
I am so I'm not a savvy computer person here, so I don't know if you can hear me. Can
We
you
can.
hear me?
We can.
Okay. Now, what is the question?
The question is that the drawing that we have, that Alan supplied us, has on I guess we have to call it the top of the drawing. The top of the drawing says there's an extension off the back. That's a 12-foot by 34-foot extension. And in that extension, it shows an office, a dining room, and an extended master bedroom. Is that extension there now?
That extension is there now. We went 12 feet back and we went 34 across. We
Okay.
added another bathroom and we made the master bedroom a little bit longer. We brought the kitchen out a little bit further, and then we have a small room that's like 7 by 10 that has pocket doors for, we don't know if it's going to be for the, you know, an office, a pantry, kids that watch, you know, cartoons and get out of your hair. So
Are
it's a
there
small,
are there windows in that room?
yes.
Okay. Our
But it's no more than a it's always been a 2-bedroom house. My kids inherited it from their grandfather. It's always been the 2-bedroom. Their kids were brought up without a father. Their grandfather was their father, and they decided to keep it always in the family because the father left it to the grandfather left
but
it
now
to
it's got a 12-foot by 34-foot addition, and one of those rooms clearly could be made into a bedroom.
No, because they're already set up for what they are. The
No, just because that's how you're using doesn't mean that they couldn't be used that way. And so that's what we have to look at.
well, I'm
It's
not
what
going to
it
move the
could-
kitchen plumbing and the bathroom.
No, you
plumbing.
shouldn't. You shouldn't do that. But at this drawing, Alan, maybe you're right. Maybe what happens is we just have to have a drawing what's there, because already what Daphne is saying is the drawing on the dimensions on the office aren't correct. There's another bathroom that's not shown here. So we don't have the right drawing.
Well, that may be the answer, as well as the concept of a 2-bedroom deed restriction. I mean, the other part of this that we haven't even touched yet, Dick, and I've alluded to with you and Lee, is that what will happen here if we go to another bedroom addition as far as the septic goes is I will not have the room to do a trench system with enough bedrooms to add. I've done the math and I've looked at the space. It's just not there. So
Well,
it means that
we have to just look at this thing, Alan, and we have to look at what this could be turned into. And just saying, gee, I promise you I won't use it, then it says, anytime we review a drawing, that we've got to look and say, yeah, it doesn't matter. Someone could sell that tomorrow afternoon. And when it's,
Dick, the other
but not if
thing
it's on the
is-
deed, Dick. If it's on the deed, the lawyer and everybody, the realtor is obligated to obey that.
That's right. And one thing, Dick, this isn't a permanent residence that there's going to be a lot of usage on a septic system. This is for my kids and grandchildren to vacation up here 5 times a year.
but that doesn't mean it stays with you. So what happens is we all move on, and we have to look at what the potential use of this. And as Alan is saying,
Well, no
if
one's
you-
moved on since 1940s. I
Well,
mean,
well,
you know,
I can
everything could be
guarantee you, we will all move on. We
yeah,
will all
probably
move on.
screwed on, but you know.
So Alan, I guess the answer is for you to let us, or somebody let us know what we really have. And if your proposal is you're gonna put a legal document in place, we'll just have to look at that. Hey, what is your thought on this thing?
Yeah, this is getting deep.
We're
Guess the
spending a
only way
ton
out-
of time, and we're not being fair to our other people with appointments either. So we're gonna have to end it
Yeah.
after you're done, Lee.
The addiction's there. I guess they just from what I'm hearing, expanded the kitchen and moved, did a little bit of moving here and there. I think the only way out of this thing is the deed restriction. Your point is valid that tomorrow it could become something different, but with a 2-bedroom deed restriction in place, I guess that's as much protection as we can get out of this.
I've been in this town for 60 something years, and I will guarantee you it's always been a 2-bedroom, it always will be a 2-bedroom.
But it didn't always have a 24 or 12 by 34 addition. Anyways, but it sounds like if you're
Well,
coming
it
up
was
with a
one of
deed,
those things, Richard, to start off with an 8-foot addition, and then you say, oh, what's another 4 feet? And we went across the house.
I know. And when you say that was 2 bedrooms, but now you added a half a house. And
No, I
so,
didn't. It's a 7 by 10 and a half to be exact, 7.5 by 10 and a half room.
but
It's
that's not
even-
what the drawing shows, Daphne. So in our case, it sounds like, Alan, you're proposing a deed restriction as part of this repair. And
That's
why don't you
fine.
come back to us with that? And it sounds like Lee is saying that he would accept that. So we're gonna have to stop this discussion though, because we've spent a ton of time and it wasn't even your time yet. So,
Sorry.
Dick, can I speak?
yeah, for a second.
Please. I was told 7:40 was the hearing time and I arrived early. I'm sorry.
I know that, and we let you
Okay.
in, but that doesn't mean after we just spent 20 minutes on it that we say, okay, now your time starts. That's not fair.
Nope, I'm more than happy to do the drawing that you request. I'm more than happy to answer the question. For the record, I do want to state that under the Title V code, it is designed as a 3-bedroom. I know it doesn't meet your rule in Granby, and I respect that. I'm trying to make it all work, but also for the record, one last statement. I just want to say that should I design a 4-bedroom system under the code that's not an alternative system, it will not fit as a trench system. So we would be talking about either a leach field system or an alternative system, which I think you know my opinion on. I object to reducing the size of a system by the extent of 40% when a perfectly good Title V system would do the trick. And I think in the end, that would make it so that the Granby rule actually does not serve the owner as well in the long run. And I just wanted to make that statement for the record.
Okay, Alan, tonight's not gonna be the time that we're gonna take a
understand.
40-year-old Granby rule and say, let's get rid of it. So.
I
so-
didn't say get rid of it, Dick. I just said that
Okay.
this might be an unusual circumstance.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Good night.
You bet. Thank you.
Okay. Neil, I still don't see you. I guess Neil did not come tonight. So, John, John Kapinski, are you here?
I am here, Dick. Thank you.
What we did, we approved your design subject to, let me go through it. Submitting the new drawing that you sent to me, John,
Right.
with the relocated SAS, the elevation changes, the SAS observation hole requirement, and the miscellaneous things we talked about, like the 100-foot well separation and our witnessing the strip, all the miscellaneous things. Our fill regulation, a French permit, and verification of another hole in the SAS at the time of the substrip. So all of what you saw on the document that was sent out is what was approved tonight.
Okay. So I guess the only question I have, Dick, is you'll need a paper copy or more than one, just one?
One paper copy for Colleen.
Okay. Send that right to her office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
okay.
Have a great
good
evening.
night.
Bye.
The next one at 7:30 is Kevin Brooks. I think I saw Nancy looking in at us. Kevin, there's Nancy. I have you. You are muted, Nancy.
Sorry, we're here.
Okay. So all I've got on my agenda is a septic design approval.
That's right.
What are you and Kevin looking for?
We're looking for you to approve that septic design that you approved before. You said it was fine, but because of the well problem, you revoked it. But a new well has been put in. It was put in yesterday. They're putting in the pump and testing the water here tomorrow, I think. So the well is in. We're just looking for approval for the septic, which you previously did, but because of the well issue, you said you had to revoke it. So
Right.
we would like approval so we can move forward.
Has the mistaken well been decommissioned?
It has, yes. They've decommissioned it and cut off the pipe and put whatever you have to put in it to, yeah.
Lee, are you set with that?
Yes, I was there multiple times. The new well has been relocated. We measured and measured and measured and measured. According to the design, it's where it belongs, unless the
Finally.
earth axis has changed.
Are you?
So
are
it should be fine. It's 127 feet off the corner of the building, and we measured the highway boundary marker off of Ferry Hill Road, backwards and forwards, and everything is exactly the way it was designed. Spoke to Cushing's, I spoke to Greg Everson, I spoke to Nancy, I spoke to Paul Boudreau. Everybody's on the same page as far as I know with this thing.
So is there any reason that we should not reinstate that septic construction permit?
None that I'm aware of.
Okay, then let's do that. You agree that we should reinstate it?
Yes, please.
Okay, and I do too. So that's
Great.
Colleen. So we've reinstated that. We've taken the whatever we said that we
You
we
revoked
called
it.
it. We revoked it. So
Yeah.
let's reinstate it. And that we
And-
don't,
okay.
we don't need a new permit. We just reinstated it.
Can we get that? Can
Okay.
you send us a letter in writing for that?
Colleen, you can send a letter. We're
Okay.
authorizing you to send the letter saying that the
Okay.
permit has been reinstated.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay.
Great.
So that's done. We can move to some other things. We're early for Dan Marinello. And Neil just didn't show up. So what we'll need to, let's look then at, Lee, let's go through our things to sign. I've got, let me get my list. I've got Colleen's timesheet. It's normal 70 hours. Are we okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. The next one is receivables going to the treasurer. We've got, it's a total of $525, and they're all from Board of Health permits and in fact, wells, plumbers, installers, haulers, etc. 525. Are we okay with that?
Yes.
And I am too. Colleen, that's approved.
Okay.
The next one, I'll go. I'm going to do everything but the last one. This is for bills payable. We've got Quill has got two of them for office supplies for $15.29 for $43.96. Tom Fleabot, 55 animal inspections for $1,100. Tom Fleabot for $109 for mileage for $43.60. Lee, are you okay with those?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay. The next one is Brett Lord for $250 for a veterinary bill. And that's been submitted to us along with the receipt of payment for the preparation of the raccoon that bit him for the rabies testing. And what Colleen found out is that in this circumstance, the town of Granby is responsible for that $250 fee. However, Colleen, you have an account that you've chosen to put this against? What did you put it against?
I put it against our other supplies or whatever that I usually, but I don't know if you want to take it from, I mean, I don't know that Tom Fleabot will he'll use all of that for, you know, his inspections or not. So I wasn't sure about taking it out of the animal inspectors, but we do have money in the other supplies.
I think, well, we
Where
could
could
talk with Chris Martin, but
Mhm.
I thought we have to be very careful about the inspection fees, that we can't just move in and out of those accounts. So we could find that out before we do this. If we're required to do this,
Yeah,
then maybe you can give Chris a call and ask him
okay.
where we can take this. Lee, the first thing is, Lee, do we pay for this? Do you vote to pay for this?
My impression was that, as Colleen stated, that the town was obligated to do this. I don't know
Yeah.
how we figure out where it comes from, because I think we ran into this thing about 12, 14 years ago.
I do
Doesn't
too.
happen that often.
Yeah, it doesn't, and there was no funds were in the line item for dead animal removal. But like I said, we do have more than enough to cover that in the other supplies, I think it's called, or other, yeah. So, but I can express about it.
If that's the case, that it can go into the other supplies, then we're free to move money in those. But Lee, I guess I agree with you. If we're required to do it, we're required to do it.
Yeah, that they didn't talk about. I mean, this happens so infrequently. I don't remember what we did all those years back, but I know we had to do it.
I think we paid it, the same thing.
I agree.
I think so.
I just can't remember what account we pulled it from.
So if that's the case, Lee, then do you say that we approve this and let it be where Colleen's got it, unless Chris says to go to the animal part? I could see how we could choose that. Chris could say, you know, this really is related to the animal inspections and bites, and he may say to do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the accounting side of the town of Granby is satisfied, I don't obviously know how or where it's going to come from, but I guess we just have to let Chris and or Colleen figure out who has a little bit of extra cash. I think it's $250.
Yeah.
But we gotta pay it.
Okay, and I agree, Colleen, so that's what we'll do. So that's approved.
Okay.
I'm gonna skip Flesher. I don't, what time, I don't know if Mr. Marinello is here yet, but let's skip that because the two things are related. The next one is the COC for 146 Taylor Street. And I see that that's even got the exercise deed notification for the Elgin system. Lee, are we okay with that one?
Yes, that's all set. Thank you.
Okay, Colleen, so I agree, that's approved. The next
Okay.
one I have an issue with. This is a well permit for lot 13 School Street. It's got a drawing for a well location. I don't remember doing any perk tests out here. I don't, it may be that I just don't remember, but I don't remember a septic design for this. I don't see on this drawing any other potential septic systems noted. I can't even see from the drawing where it is, but I do also see that it's well is within 100 feet of the septic tank. My feeling, unless you know something about this, Lee, I don't think this is ready for a permit.
I would agree. I don't even have any idea where lot 13 School Street is. And if the perk test is so old, is it out of date? Was there one done? I mean, I guess you and me are in the dark, which is not a good place for us to be making this decision. So I think maybe we need to contact Cushing's and have them hold back so we can get the owner or the seller to throw us some information on what's going on here.
Yeah. But I don't, Colleen, to the best of your knowledge, is there an approved septic system designed for this lot?
No, I don't believe so. I did take a look for it, but I don't believe so.
No, and I am really sure that I would have remembered the perk tests. But so anyway, so we're gonna reject this. And the reason is because we don't have sufficient data to be sure that the well is going to be interfered with any other septic systems or the septic system of this property.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
we're gonna reject this.
Okay.
So is someone gonna get in touch with Cushing to make sure that they don't put this in?
You want me to call them?
I think it's probably worthwhile, since we just saw what happened at the real estate about putting wells in that shouldn't be put in. It's easier to stop it from happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Okay. The next one
I'm
is,
sorry. As the owner of lot 13 School Street, am I able to speak on this, or I'm not sure about the rules of the meeting?
yeah, you could actually speak.
Yeah, just so you could have some more information moving forward. So my name is Madison Walker. My husband and we purchased this lot almost a year ago. It was one of the Shylosky properties. I'm sure you've heard that name a lot in Granby.
Yeah.
It's behind 146 and 147 School Street, kind of close to 202. And it was in chapter 61. It's been in chapter 61. And we've gone through the process of taking out a small building lot to build a small house for our family. So we're just kind of in the early stages, like the house is being designed. When we bought the property, it had a perk test a long time ago. We have the documentation for that, but we've been having, we've just been getting more design, like a septic design and a well design. So nothing, there is no septic system there currently. It's just land. So we're just trying to go through the steps. I guess maybe we did it in the wrong order. But we did have a company come out and do the well design. But it sounds like that design doesn't look ready yet.
Yeah, actually, then after you say this, you are out of sequence. So hopefully nothing that you've done is wasted. So what you would start with is the septic system design, so that we would make sure that all the questions that we had are all answered, that you're not in trouble with the well location, or you're not too close to the septic tank, or all of the things we look at in a septic system design. So you're just out of sequence. And if you're moving along with the perk test, then for sure, if it's old like that, the perk test is no longer valid. But the good news is we perk for new systems in March and April, so you're only 2 weeks away. So your engineer can get in and do the perk tests, and we can get the system designed and make it work. I'm sure we can make it work.
Okay.
And it's just you're out of sequence right now. So we don't want to approve that well location in the event that it's going to, let's say that the soil, let's say the only soil that's now good for doing a perk test is right where the house is shown. I don't know that, but let's say that, and you've got the well there right now, and your well is absolutely no good. You'd never get a chance to use it, and you'd have to fill it. So we don't want to put that in and have it no good.
Understood. And I can't say for sure. My husband's been doing most of this process, but if we already had a septic design, a septic system design, we would obviously need to submit that to you guys, right? Or
yeah, you would. I can tell just looking at it. It looks like it's a bed, which we're going to say you're not going to be able to put a bed in. You're going to need trenches. And you're within 100 feet of the septic tank to the well, so that's not going to be the right spot. So something's got to change in here, and I don't know how much you've done on the design, but maybe most of the work is done. But I don't remember going in there looking at soils for a very, very long time. I'm not exactly sure where it is, but I just don't remember. And I'm really pretty good at remembering where we dig the holes.
okay. Well, yeah, we might have been going off of that old information. So we probably need to get that updated. Okay, that's good information to know.
But I don't think I think you're going to find it's not a big problem.
Okay.
So okay. Then
Great.
I'll be expecting to hear from your engineer to go witness a perk test, I'm sure, and get this thing moving.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Now, do we have? It looks like we do have Mr. Marinello.
Yes, sir.
So what we had some questions is, since this is a new application for a pumping operation in town, we asked some questions and actually, since I've seen your ads on TV, it looks like it's a new operation for your company too. So we just like to know what kind of training your guys have, and do you have a place that you're going to be dumping the sewage, and do you have a contract, or what happens with it?
Absolutely. So as far as the technicians go, I'm the only one that will be driving and doing any pumping. So I'll be the sole operator of that unit, that division of our company. We do have a place to dump. We dump at the town of Palmer wastewater. So everything is permitted through them. We have a 3-year permit, and would be always disposed of and documented per their regulations. The ticket we give them with every homeowner's address, the amount of gallons that we pump, the date of pumping. So they track that all on that end. And yeah, so septic pumping is a new operation for us. So that's why, we're trying to go town by town, just the ones that are closest to us, and then kind of branch out from there. And obviously we're in Ludlow, right on the Granby line. So you guys were a town we naturally wanted to start off with.
It sounds to me like these people do understand what they're supposed to do. What are you
I
thinking?
agree. No, I was thinking the same thing. As long as we have one person who is familiar with the equipment, the safety aspect, in the event we need a paper trail, one should be available without too much aggravation. I don't see anything wrong with going forward and at least give it a shot and see where we end up.
Okay, I'm okay with that. So I've got the hauler's fee, the sewer and drain hauler fee for Fletcher Sewer and Drain, and I'm okay with issuing this. Are you, Lee?
I am, yes.
So since we both are, Colleen, then you're authorized to sign it and issue the permit.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan, for coming in and talking with us. Good luck.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night. Now, I got a thing I sent, Colleen, you maybe didn't see it, and Lee, maybe you didn't see it. I got a call from Miss Turgeon, and she's building a house. If you look on it was the Giacomo property, but she's got 2 lots. And one of them, lot 1, is the one that if you're standing on Ferry Hill, it's the one to the left. That's basically behind the Sullivan house. And the lot 2 is the one she's gonna build on. And that's more behind the Giacomo's house. And we've gone in, I think 4 times into lot 1, doing perk tests, doing other deep holes. There was an approved design. And it's run out. The design has run out. The perk tests have run out. And Mish went to get a loan based on the property that she owns. And the bank said, gee, your permit has run out. And she was looking for something from the board that says that the lot was buildable. And I sent the suggestion I distributed it. Lee, I don't know if you had a chance to read it.
I see it on the computer now.
If you can give it, can you get it so that you can read it? Basically, so basically, it says that we were in there, we looked at the soils, the soil met the minimum standards. we gave a permit and the permit ran out, but the rules for investigating haven't changed, and that the soil evaluation indicates that the soil is suitable for installation, but Granby regulations say for you to build the system, you need a new perk test and a new
Everyone's bitching,
permit because the time is running.
but there's a
Yeah,
limit.
I'm reading that as we speak. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
So basically, in 2 weeks or so,
Video.
depending on scheduling, you guys can go back at it and get this thing done, and she can get her note signed off from the bank, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but she said that if we sent a note like I wrote, that
Okay, and
she
then
probably
they'll
would get away with them saying,
You know what?
They-
How many people are in town?
yeah,
There
they're,
should be like 300 people at this meeting. You know?
so can we authorize Colleen to send that note out, Lee?
Sure. I think it's well written. It's right to the point. Needs to be very clear. So absolutely.
And if they say that's not good enough, then we have to do perk tests for them, but it's the truth. It says that's really where we are.
Right. And if they do say something, then from a timing perspective, we should be hearing back within 14 days
At
and
like
know
7:30
for the
tonight.
next meeting
So
whether or not we have to take any further action on this piece of property.
Yes. Okay, Colleen, since we both agree to that, you can send that out.
Okay,
But the next thing that I have, Lee, is one that I'll give some information, but it's something that we can't discuss. It concerns school masks since we met the last time. The DESI has said that on the 28th, schools don't have to have masks anymore. The town of Granby has a regulation that the Board of Health has a regulation saying they do have to have masks. For our information, Lee, your information, I talked to both McDuffie and I talked to the superintendent and the head of nursing and the public schools. They're both very, very concerned that ending a mask mandate at the end of a school vacation is absolutely the wrong time to end it. That the potential after what they saw the big surge at the Christmas vacation, that they both groups said that they would rather talk about mask mandates after they get the data around what happens after school vacation. So that we're in a spot that I'm also, as Nancy Jenks was very aware, is that if you look at vaccination rates of our school children, 5 to 11-year-olds are 38% fully vaccinated, and 12 to 15-year-olds are 55% vaccinated. So we've got terrible vaccination performance in our children. However, what we have is I'd offer that tonight we can't discuss this. That it's according to the open meeting law, this would have to be even though we've got COVID issues on our agenda, discussing the elimination of school masks is such a big item that if it were going to be discussed, all people have a right to know what was going to be discussed at this meeting. So I believe it's an open meeting law violation for us to discuss this tonight. And I can't allow that to happen. What I can ask is whether we can have a special meeting with 3 days' notice if we choose to discuss this. And Lee, I'm going to ask you, there's only 2 of us tonight. Certainly on an issue like this, I think a whole board, the 3 of us should be discussing it. I don't know when Herb is coming back. But so the issue is, do we schedule a separate meeting to discuss this? Or do we put it on an agenda? What we can do legally, Lee, right now, is to say, do we put it on the choices? Do we schedule a special meeting before our next meeting? The second is, do we put it on the next meeting? Or the third would be, do we put it on the meeting that follows? So the second meeting out, which would occur after we know what happens at the vacation. So what are your thoughts, Lee?
Actually, that last suggestion makes the most sense to me. Vacation will have come and gone. Full board will be back. We'll have a much better idea of where we are as far as membership involvement from the board and the changes that will be occurring not only in Granby, but also in Western Mass in general.
Colleen, I support that too. So what we'll do is we'll put that on whatever the meeting is. That will be what, around the 15th of March or whenever that is.
Okay.
So we will do that. So just to go over Neil Jackson's, we did not approve the 13 Pine Brook Circle. We've got to find
Right.
out about that 10-foot separation from the building. We did approve the Griswold.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
annual report. Colleen, did you get my modifications for the annual report?
I did.
Maybe you could
Mhm.
maybe you could type that up and just send it out and see what Lee and Herb think about it.
Sure. Yeah, I think I had already done, but I didn't send it out yet to you, so I'll send
Okay.
that.
Okay. So-
There's also a title.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yep.
Lee, are we set with the 12 Griswold Circle, Neil Jackson field? That's the new septic, the leach field that's been.
Right, that's the new design that we got tonight. Yep.
Are
yep.
we set to, okay to receive that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Colleen, I agree. So we're okay to receive it.
Okay.
So you've got one question right there. We're ready to say goodnight. What could we help you with?
Could I ask a question?
Yeah, well,
So I'm back. I got a little bit of clarification from my husband. Like I said, he's been dealing with all this. I did learn a perk test was done in 2020, right before we purchased it. And we did have a full septic design done. And my husband says it was submitted with the well design application or with the well permit application. So I don't know if they got separated in the process. I remember he mentioned one time he put something through like a slot in a door. I'm not sure. But if we need to like resubmit with everything, but we do have a septic design in a recent perk test. It was done in 2020.
So.
Okay, so I just don't
was-
remember where it is.
So the septic design was approved at a board meeting? Is that what I'm hearing?
If the septic design was approved, I know it was submitted along with the well permit. I just texted him and asked if it was the septic design was approved. I'm not sure exactly.
Oh, if it's just with the well permit, then we haven't seen it. Because the well permit was just submitted on February 8th.
Right, but
Yeah, that's all was the well. I didn't see anything else come in with that.
oh, it didn't have the septic with that? Okay.
No, there would have been like a big package, 4 copies each and a whole other application.
But we don't have
And then
that.
I would just be curious as to the timing of the actual perk test.
Well,
2
since,
years ago, Dick.
well, it says,
We
she said
remember that one.
2020, so it's only 2 years ago. So I just don't
That's
have
not-
any idea where it is. That's our problem. We don't know where it is. If I knew where it was, then I could tell you, yeah, I remember it. But I don't know where it is.
I mean, the letter we have, it was from Robert Sheehan, certified soil evaluator. March 19th, 2020 was the letter.
But more than, I know where a lot of the Shalaski lots are. And it's probably one of the ones that's on the corner of Harvard Street and School Street. It probably is that. And if that's the case, then, but you can't tell. This drawing, you certainly can't tell where this is.
So
Just
when
looking up my street list here. It's behind 146 School Street. Is that what I heard?
yeah, it's behind 147 and 149, the driveways in between those two properties.
Okay. So, yeah, 147 is Dennis Smith's property, Dick.
Yep.
And
Oh.
149 is Tracy and Ted Lakota. Well, it's on that flat spot, just down from, I
Oh,
don't know. down
yeah, I know where,
Nutting.
I absolutely know where this is. It's,
Okay.
In fact, it was right at the beginning of when they were shutting the COVID stuff down. We were very careful not being close to each other. It's in the woods, and yeah, it was.
So this
There's
Right by
plenty of
Dennis Smith,
sand,
then.
but I haven't seen the design. We haven't designed. So the perk test was done. So that part, and it's a legal and valid perk test. So that part is done. And it's all sand and gravel. So it's good soil. So we just have to get the design and find out where that is.
All right.
Okay, and you said that Bob Sheen did the design for you. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, Sheehan had just done the perk. We had the design done by Heritage Surveyors.
I don't have any, but I don't know who that is, but that's okay. I don't have to know who they are. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering where it is.
Yeah.
Heritage Surveys out of Southampton is who did
Yeah.
the septic.
So they
But
need
we
to
haven't
clear up
acted.
that data.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how Matt submitted that. I don't know if he emailed it or dropped it off, but we can get that to you. The design, we can get that
Yeah.
to you.
Yep, you'll need to do that.
But in the meantime, please do not let that well go in.
Oh, yeah, right, of course.
Everything that you're telling me is probably accurate and there's probably no issue. But I don't want you spending $7,000 or $9,000 on a well that we may need move 50 feet because that's going to come out of your pocket.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, we won't do
So-
anything until, that's for sure.
I'm not suggesting there's anything wrong. I'm just suggesting that we err on the side of caution and wait a couple of weeks so that nobody gets into a jam here.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm just looking, as I look at this scale drawing. And again, it's tiny, tiny what I'm looking at. But it looks like the two purples are not in the leach field. And it looks like they've put a bed instead of trenches. And the septic tank is too close to the well. So those are from just this tiny little thing. I'm just telling those things are wrong with this design. So,
okay.
so it's important to fix that right now. But it sounds like you might be almost all the way there.
Yeah, we'll regroup and see what's done and make sure we get the septic stuff all approved first.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
In fact, I
certainly,
think- yeah.
this is not going to interfere with your building plans for the spring if that's what you're shooting for. This is all workable stuff.
Okay, that's good to hear. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I think they were all chopped up. I think there were logs that we had to go through to get into this little spot. But I remember, now that I know where it is, now I remember the holes very well.
All right. Well,
Okay. Colleen, do we have anything else? You're probably ready to go rest after your trip today, huh?
Yeah, I know. No, because I'm sure you don't want to talk about the fee schedule till the whole board
No,
is
no.
there. Yeah, no, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Okay, good night, everybody.